Welcome to our channel History of Coins, where we explore the hidden gems of numismatics. In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of rare quarter-dollar coins, cause some of these coins hold an incredible history, and some are worth millions. So today, we are gonna uncover the rarest varieties and their values. So make sure to watch the complete video and find out if you have one of these. Now let's continue our today's video. Top 1 today, we are diving deep into one of the fascinating coins from the Washington Quarter series, the 1972 United States quarter dollar. At first glance, this coin may look like the spare change you have in your pocket or sitting in a jar at home, but don't let appearances fool you. Within the world of numismatics, even the most ordinary-looking coins can hide extraordinary stories and sometimes incredible values. The Washington Quarter has been a backbone of American coinage since 1932, created originally to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. By 1972, it was already a familiar coin used in everyday life, but certain factors about the coins from this year make them particularly interesting to collectors. To understand why, we need to explore their design, production, and the little mistakes that can transform them into treasures that on the obverse side. The coin carries the iconic bust of George Washington, designed by sculptor John Flanagan. His portrait has been a constant symbol of American strength and leadership, appearing on the quarter for decades. The reverse features the bold eagle with outstretched wings, clutching arrows and olive branches, a symbol of peace backed by strength. Although millions of these coins were produced at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints, not every coin left the mint in the same condition. And that's where the rarity begins. When we talk about value, condition is king. A heavily circulated 1972 quarter with scratches and wear is usually worth only face value. But in pristine, uncirculated condition, the story changes. Coins graded at the highest levels, showing sharp details, smooth surfaces, and no signs of wear, can command significant premiums. Collectors seek out these gems because they represent the coin as it was intended to appear the day it was struck, but the real excitement comes from mint errors. In 1972, several types of minting errors occurred, and these mistakes are what turn an ordinary coin into a collector's dream. One of the most famous errors is the double die obverse. On these coins, the inscriptions like "In God We Trust" or "Liberty" appear doubled, giving a dramatic look to the lettering. Another error is the off-center strike, where the design is not properly aligned with the coin blank, leaving part of the image missing. There are also examples of clipped planchets, where a portion of the coin is cut off before striking, creating a distinctive curved bite out of the quarter. Each of these errors is rare, and their uniqueness makes them highly desirable. Think about it. Every error coin is essentially one of a kind. Collectors love them not only because of their rarity, but also because they provide a window into the minting process itself. These flaws are accidents, but they make the coin far more interesting and valuable than a perfect, common strike. Another aspect that adds to the appeal of the 1972 Washington Quarter is its place in American history. The early 1970s were a period of great cultural change in the United States. From politics to music to technological progress, it was an era that shaped the future. Owning a coin from 1972 is like holding a small piece of that history in your hand. For collectors, the historical connection adds an emotional layer to the value of the coin. Now, how high can the value of a 1972 Washington Quarter actually go? That depends on a combination of condition, rarity, and errors. Regular coins in worn condition will only ever be worth a quarter. But when you find one preserved in brilliant, uncirculated condition, or even better, a coin with a dramatic mint error, it's worth skyrockets. Auction houses have seen these coins sell for prices that surprise even seasoned collectors. And here's the part you've been waiting for. Believe it or not, one rare example of the 1972 Washington Quarter reached an astonishing value of $88,000. Yes, a single quarter, a coin that was once used in daily life for a gumball or a bus ride, became a treasure worth $88,000 in the collector's market. This is why coin collecting remains so exciting. You never know what might be hiding in your pocket change or your coin jar at home. That plain-looking 1972 quarter could be nothing more than 25 cents, or it could be the key to a small fortune. So, if you come across a 1972 Washington Quarter, don't dismiss it too quickly. Look closely at the details, check for doubling, off-center strikes, or unusual shapes. Even subtle differences can mean the difference between ordinary pocket change and extraordinary value. Top 2, we are stepping into the fascinating world of the Washington quarter once again, but this time we're focusing on the 1974 United States quarter dollar. At first glance, it may look just like any other quarter from your change, but let me tell you, this coin carries a story that has intrigued collectors for decades. It's a story of history, minting quirks, rarity, and above all, value. So, coin enthusiasts, listen carefully and enjoy this journey. The Washington quarter has been in circulation since 1932, originally introduced to honor George Washington's 200th birthday. By the time 1974 rolled around, the design by John Flanagan had already become an American classic. Millions of quarters were struck in that year at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. Most of these coins went straight into the hands of everyday Americans, used for gas stations, pay phones, and arcade machines. But not every coin is created equal, and among the millions, some stand out as true treasures. That let's begin with the design itself. The obverse displays the familiar portrait of George Washington, facing left with the word Liberty above and the national motto, "In God We Trust," to the side. The date, 1974, sits boldly at the bottom. On the reverse, we see the majestic eagle with wings spread wide, holding arrows and olive branches, a lasting symbol of American strength and peace. It's a design that collectors have admired for generations. But while the design may look ordinary, what makes certain 1974 quarters so exciting are the rare conditions and errors that slipped through the mint. Condition plays the biggest role in the value of any coin. A worn, circulated 1974 quarter is usually just worth face value. However, if you have one that has been carefully preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition, you're looking at something far more appealing to collectors. A coin with brilliant luster, sharp details, and no scratches or handling marks can easily jump in value. Collectors prize these gems because they are snapshots of perfection straight from the minting process. Now, let's talk about errors, the part that truly makes this coin fascinating. The 1974 Washington quarter is known to have some striking mint errors that drastically raise its value. One of the most notable errors is the double die obverse, where the inscriptions and even parts of Washington's profile appear doubled, creating a dramatic and highly sought-after effect. Another rare error is the off-center strike, where the design is shifted noticeably, leaving a blank crescent of metal exposed. These coins are often unique, and that uniqueness drives their price through the roof. Then there are clipped planchets, where the coin was struck on a piece of metal that wasn't properly cut. These coins have a curved bite missing from their edge, making them instantly recognizable. There are also wrong planchet errors, where a quarter was accidentally struck on a dime planchet, resulting in a smaller and lighter coin that still bears the quarter's design. These rare mistakes not only excite collectors, but also serve as fascinating reminders of the complexities of coin production. But rarity is not just about errors. The 1974 quarter also carries historical weight. This was a time of change in America. The Vietnam War was ending, Watergate was unfolding, and the country was about to enter its bicentennial celebration years. Owning a coin from 1974 isn't just about owning metal. It's about holding a piece of history from a transformative era in the United States. When you put all these factors together, condition, errors, and history, you begin to see why some 1974 quarters have achieved incredible prices at auctions. Collectors are willing to pay top dollar for coins that combine rarity with beauty and historical context. Most ordinary 1974 quarters will only ever be worth a quarter, but the special ones, the rare survivors in gem condition or with striking mint errors, tell a completely different story. And now, here's the moment you've been waiting for. Among the rarest and most exceptional examples of the 1974 Washington quarter, one was sold for the breathtaking amount of $85,000. Yes, that's right, $85,000 for a single quarter that most people would pass over without a second glance. This is exactly why coin collecting is so thrilling. That old coin sitting in your drawer or passed down from family could hold hidden value. So, if you come across a 1974 Washington quarter, take a close look. Study the details, check for doubling, off-center strikes, or any unusual features. What might look like ordinary pocket change could be a collector's dream. Top 3, we are going to uncover the story of a coin that may look ordinary at first glance, but can actually be a hidden gem in the world of numismatics. The 1982 Washington quarter dollar. You might be thinking, it's just a quarter from the 1980s. But trust me, this coin has secrets that make it highly desirable among collectors. Listen carefully and enjoy the journey, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why the 1982 quarter can be worth so much more than just 25 cents. The Washington quarter has been an important part of American coinage since 1932. Designed by John Flanagan to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, this coin became a staple of everyday commerce. By 1982, Americans were using quarters for everything: arcade machines, vending machines, and parking meters. But that year also stands out in history because of a decision by the United States Mint that makes this coin unique. In 1982, the Mint decided not to produce mint sets for collectors due to budget cuts. That meant no official sets of pristine, uncirculated coins were distributed, which is something collectors had come to expect. As a result, finding a 1982 quarter in gem condition became extremely difficult. Most of the coins struck that year went directly into circulation, and over time, they were heavily used. This is one of the major reasons why uncirculated 1982 quarters are scarce and valuable today. The design remained classic: George Washington's profile on the obverse, with the inscriptions "Liberty," "In God We Trust," and the date 1982. The reverse displayed the familiar eagle perched with wings spread wide, clutching arrows and olive branches, a timeless image of peace and strength. But while the design is traditional, the rarity comes from condition and, of course, minting errors. Let's talk about those mint errors, because they are what excite collectors the most. One known error from 1982 is the double die obverse, where inscriptions like "In God We Trust" or "Liberty" appear doubled, creating a striking visual effect. Another error is the off-center strike, where the design is shifted, leaving part of the coin blank and incomplete. There are also examples of broad strikes, where the coin expands beyond its normal border, creating an odd and eye-catching appearance. Another highly sought-after feature involves transitional errors and planchet mistakes. Some coins were struck on planchets intended for other denominations, resulting in weight differences and unique anomalies. Collectors love these kinds of errors because each one is essentially a one-of-a-kind piece. If you happen to discover a coin with such characteristics, you might just be holding on to something worth a fortune. Now, let's not forget condition. Because there were no official uncirculated mint sets produced in 1982, the few surviving quarters in high grade are extremely rare. Coins graded at the top of the scale, with sharp details, brilliant luster, and no scratches, are highly prized. Even without errors, a 1982 Washington quarter in gem condition can bring in impressive value simply because of its scarcity. This coin also represents an interesting time in American history. The early 1980s were marked by economic challenges, cultural shifts, and technological growth. Holding a coin from 1982 is not just about owning money. It's about holding a little piece of that moment in time. Collectors value this connection, knowing their coin is tied to the stories of a nation in transition. So, how much can a 1982 Washington quarter really be worth? For ordinary circulated examples, the value will always be just 25 cents. But for those rare uncirculated gems, or for coins that show dramatic mint errors, the value can climb to levels that most people would never expect for such a common denomination. And now, here's the exciting part you've been waiting for. Among the rarest examples, a 1982 Washington quarter has reached the extraordinary value of $82,000. Yes, $82,000 for a single quarter that once jingled in someone's pocket. This is what makes coin collecting so thrilling. You never know what treasures might be hiding in plain sight. That coin sitting in your jar, or passed down from a relative, could turn out to be worth far more than you ever imagined. So next time you come across a 1982 Washington quarter, examine it closely. Check its condition, look for doubling, off-center strikes, or unusual features. You might just be holding one of the most valuable quarters ever produced. Top 4, we're diving into the fascinating story of the 1989 Washington quarter dollar, a coin that many people might overlook as just another piece of pocket change, but one that has captured the attention of serious collectors for its rarity and unique appeal. Listen carefully, because by the end of this video, you'll see how this seemingly ordinary coin can turn into something extraordinary. The Washington quarter has been around since 1932, introduced to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Designed by John Flanagan, the coin's portrait of Washington became a familiar sight in every American's hand. By 1989, the design had already been in circulation for more than half a century, making it one of the most recognized coins in U.S. history. Now, let's talk about the context of 1989. The late 1980s were a period of economic change, political shifts, and cultural milestones in the United States. From the end of the Cold War era to the rise of technology, this was a time of transition. The 1989 Washington quarter, though small, carries with it the memory of this significant period in history. The design of the coin remained classic. On the obverse side, you'll find Washington's bust facing left, with the word Liberty above his head, "In God We Trust" on the side, and the date 1989 below. On the reverse, the eagle with outstretched wings holds arrows and olive branches, symbolizing both readiness and peace. Millions were minted at both the Philadelphia and Denver facilities, and proof coins were struck at San Francisco. But here's where things get interesting. Not all of these coins are the same, and that's what makes them valuable. Condition plays a huge role. Most 1989 quarters were heavily circulated. They clinked in change jars, arcade machines, and vending machines for decades, and today, the majority of them show heavy wear. A circulated example will likely never be worth more than 25 cents. But finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition with full luster and sharp details is a challenge, and these are the coins that collectors prize most. High-grade examples graded by professional services can command serious premiums. But beyond condition, errors are what truly make this coin exciting. Some 1989 Washington quarters display dramatic mint errors, and these are what transform an ordinary quarter into a collector's treasure. A famous error is the double die obverse, where the inscriptions such as Liberty or In God We Trust appear doubled, creating a bold, eye-catching effect. Another valuable error is the off-center strike, where the design is misaligned, leaving part of the planchet blank. There are also examples of clipped planchets, where the quarter was struck on an incomplete piece of metal, giving it a distinctive missing crescent. Wrong planchet errors are even more dramatic. This happens when a quarter is mistakenly struck on a planchet intended for a dime or a foreign coin, producing a rare and highly collectible mistake. Each of these errors adds to the rarity and drives up the value of the coin. Collectors are passionate about coins like the 1989 quarter because they combine history, artistry, and the unpredictability of minting errors. Imagine holding a coin that millions of people have used, but yours is one of just a handful that carries a mistake so rare it becomes a one-of-a-kind collectible. That uniqueness is what fuels the excitement in numismatics. The 1989 Washington quarter also reminds us of the thrill of searching. Many of these valuable coins are still out there today, hiding in plain sight. They could be sitting in a drawer, a piggy bank, or even in your pocket change right now. The joy of coin hunting comes from the possibility that one small discovery could lead to something truly life-changing. So now, let's get to the moment you've been waiting for. While most 1989 quarters are only worth face value, the rarest examples in superb condition or with dramatic mint errors have sold for astonishing sums. One of these coins, in an exceptional state of preservation, reached the incredible value of $79,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $79,000 for a single quarter from 1989. That's the kind of discovery every collector dreams of, and it shows that even coins from the modern era can hold enormous value if the right conditions come together. Top 5, we're going to take a close look at a coin that many people might not give a second thought to, the 1991 Washington quarter dollar. You might have one of these coins sitting in your pocket change, in a jar at home, or tucked away in an old collection. But what if I told you that some 1991 quarters can be worth far more than just 25 cents? That's right, this ordinary-looking coin hides some extraordinary secrets. So sit back, listen carefully, and enjoy the journey into the story of this fascinating quarter. The Washington Quarter has been an American classic since 1932, created to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. Designed by John Flanagan, the portrait of Washington on the obverse side has become one of the most recognizable images in U.S. coinage. By 1991, the quarter had already been in circulation for nearly 6 decades, making it a trusted and familiar part of everyday life. Millions were minted at the Philadelphia and Denver mints that year, and proof coins were also struck at San Francisco. Now, let's talk about the design. On the obverse, we see Washington's profile facing left, with the word Liberty above, "In God We Trust" to the side, and the date 1991 below. On the reverse, we find the classic eagle with wings spread wide, clutching arrows and olive branches. It's a bold and powerful design that symbolizes both readiness and peace. By the early 1990s, the Washington Quarter was still carrying this original design, just a few years before the state quarter program would forever change the series. So why is the 1991 Washington Quarter so interesting to collectors? The answer lies in condition and rarity. Most of the coins struck in 1991 went straight into circulation, bouncing from cash registers to vending machines, slowly wearing down with every use. As a result, the majority of these coins today are heavily worn and worth no more than their face value. But finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition with sharp details, full luster, and no scratches is far more challenging. These high-grade examples are what collectors are after, and then we come to minting errors, the real game changers in the world of numismatics. The 1991 quarter has been known to feature some fascinating errors that can transform a common coin into a highly valuable treasure. Among them are double die errors, where inscriptions such as Liberty or In God We Trust appear doubled, creating a dramatic and eye-catching effect. Off-center strikes are another rarity, where the design is misaligned and part of the coin remains blank. There are also clipped planchet errors, where the quarter has a curved section missing from its edge, and wrong planchet errors, where the coin was mistakenly struck on metal intended for another denomination. Each of these mistakes makes the coin unique, and collectors are willing to pay impressive sums to add such pieces to their collections. Another reason the 1991 quarter is fascinating is its place in history. The early 1990s were a time of transition for America. The Cold War was ending, technology was beginning to transform daily life, and the U.S. was preparing for the exciting state quarter program that would launch later in the decade. Owning a 1991 quarter is not just about having a piece of currency. It's about holding onto a piece of that ERA.SO. How much can one of these coins really be worth? For most circulated examples, the value will always remain just 25 cents. But when you find one in extraordinary condition or one with a dramatic error, the value can skyrocket beyond imagination. Collectors are always watching for these hidden gems, and they often surprise the market when they appear at auction. And now, for the part you've been waiting for. Among the rarest and most exceptional examples, a 1991 Washington quarter has reached the astonishing value of $75,000. Yes, $75,000 for a single quarter that once might have been used to buy a snack or play a game at an arcade. This is the magic of coin collecting. Something small, ordinary, and often overlooked can turn out to be a treasure beyond belief. So the next time you come across a 1991 quarter, don't ignore it. Take a closer look. You might just be holding a piece of numismatic history. Thank you for joining me in exploring the world of the 1991 Washington quarter. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you'll never miss another story of hidden treasures in everyday coins. Until next time, keep searching, keep collecting, and always remember, the next valuable coin could be right in your pocket.